Among other stories on the front pages this morning is food prices. The Blueprint newspaper leads with crash food prices in 1 month of face sanction, FG warns retailers. Import charges, high bank interest, rent increment are challenged. That's according to traders. And that's not the only newspaper talking about that one this morning. Look at the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. FG gives traders 1 month to crash prices. FCCPC meets stakeholders, explains why 30-day moratorium was given. Cites law empowering it to act. Decries prohibitive prices of goods in supermarkets. Shareholders blame insecurity, multiple taxation, high cost of transportation for high prices. The front page of Daily Independent as well. FG plans crackdown on businesses fixing hiking prices of goods. Gives market associations, transporters 1 month to crash prices. Once individuals, corporates face substantial fines, imprisonment. All of that packed on the front page. You find the details on the inside pages of the paper. The Nigerian News Direct says traders frustrating economic stability with exploitative pricing. That's according to FCCPC. Issues 1 month moratorium for traders to desist from act. Details of that story on page 4 of the paper this morning. Two other stories. The Daily Times has NLC can't be intimidated, says Ajero after police interrogation. Says NLC remains committed to defending the rights of Nigerian workers. Real reason why police invited NLC president emerges. The details of that story continue on the inside pages of the paper this morning. The Leadership newspaper says alleged terrorism financing. Labour talks tough after Ajero's visit to police. That story is on page 4. Says we won't be intimidated. External pressure behind my travail. That's according to the NLC president. Find the details on page 4 of the paper. Look at the front page of New Telegraph. Striking doctors will invoke no work, no pay, says FG. Reiterates it's been working with NSA, others to ensure immediate safe rescue of Dr. Upola, to provide 50% electricity subsidy for public hospitals, varsity, others. That story is on pages 2 and 3 of the New Telegraph newspaper this morning. The front page of this Nigerian newspaper has that same story. FG approves 50% electricity subsidy for hospitals. Gas shortage hits geometric power as body lords government. Abia State for assistance. Details you find on the inside pages of the paper this morning. Front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Nigerians paid 1.04 billion naira ransom to kidnappers in 1 year. That's according to a report. What report? Look at some details on the front page. 1,056 killed, 7,568 abducted in 1,130 incidents. Find out who said that. Credible intelligence lacking, according to former AIG. Ex-DSS boss wants emergency declared on security. Troops neutralized 1,166 terrorists in 29 days. That's according to the HQ. Find the details of that story on the inside pages of the paper this morning. Business Day newspaper, look at what it says. Nigeria's Olympics flop costs athletes endorsements and sponsorships. The details continue on the inside pages of the paper. Look at the Guardian newspaper. Living in Abuja, the making of a capital city of gross inequality, rags, riches. It's a big story on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And these are some of the papers we have for you today. My take is on the front page of this Nigeria newspaper, which is a 2-in-1 perspective, by the way. On the top right of the nameplate is FCCPC decries on ending price fixing by business owners across Nigeria. And that is concerning, of course, as we mentioned earlier, other newspapers carried that same story of the pricing by Nigerians. Someone told me that in Kano, during the Ramadan season, that the price of pure water, the sachet water, was so high. I think he said it was something almost about 700 naira or thereabout during the Ramadan season. And that immediately after the Ramadan season, it crashed to 200 naira. Well, I was very, very shocked. And that's perhaps gives some, meaning to this story making the rounds on the front page of this paper and like 3 or 4 other newspapers this morning. And that is something that is really, really concerning. They have given their own reason, that's the prices to the retailers, that certain other things inform the things that they have to do. And maybe what they didn't add is that they also have to pay the same school fees for their children, particularly those in universities, such as we highlighted this morning. So, Chamberlain, when you were talking about the situation in the University of Lagos the other time, and you also cited the power situation in the University of Ibadan. This, on the front page, the lead story, is that the federal government has approved 50% electricity subsidy for hospitals. Is it possible for the same thing to happen for universities? Or is the federal government expecting or hoping that because the student loan is now active, students should get that loan and then be able to pay the full value of their university education, and by which now the universities will be able to pay off their electricity debt? I'm still wondering how the University of Lagos, for one, can raise R1 billion to settle its electricity debts, and that's just for University of Lagos. There are quite a number of them spread all over the country. Is it the same fate for all of them? Are the vice chancellors able to come together and agree on some kind of representation to present to the NUC and to the federal government? Can this go into the hospitals, also go to the universities, just for whatever length of time? That's my take this morning, Kayla and Chamberlain.
Well, yeah, interesting points, but I think if we get it right, because I think maybe it might have been a little muddled up, not too clear, but I think the Minister of Power also did say that they were going to subsidize for public hospitals and universities. So perhaps if people go by that headline, which says hospitals, you think it's across board.
Yeah.
But it says public hospitals on the front page of This Nigeria. Even the Minister of State for Health was in Kaduna the other time when he was talking about the psychiatric hospital when they were doing some things there. Yeah, so that is something that people need to find out what exactly is the position. Despite that announcement, why are universities still faced with this challenge? Now, in addition to that, which you see on the front page of This Nigeria, University of Ibadan, they also are going through a similar narrative. In fact, we understand from what the students also tell us is that they've been given till, is it September 8th or thereabout? So they have to pay. If they do not, HODs have been instructed to what? If anybody is not registered, if you close that line or draw the line over registration date, they won't sit for exams, as they will not be deemed to be bona fide students, and so they cannot write any of those exams. But the students themselves are up in arms about all of those, saying, listen, we cannot pay any of these fees because it is harrowing. It is really difficult for us, many who are trying to eke a living and go to school at the same time. So they think, look, this is unbearable for all of them. So it's a matter that needs to be looked into.
Well, let's take a look at the Vanguard newspaper. Today, the Vanguard is on fire this morning.
Oh, okay.
Everything is happening on the Vanguard. I'm going to start with this one, exploitative pricing. Traders get 1 month notice to crash prices. Morning from, yes, morning from, you have 1 month if you're committing this crime. Morning from page 5 of the...
Did they say it's a crime?
It's a crime against the Nigerian people. If you're exploited, the way the FCCPC puts it, it's where competitors come together and then fix a price that'll be good for their profit margin without recourse to the Nigerian people and what they're dealing with.
Well, here's the thing.
So it's not about market forces. Well, this is about a bunch of people coming together to take our money.
So did they talk about accommodation as well?
What has accommodation got to do with this?
Oh, so people live there free, right?
No, this is about pricing of food items.
No, so, well, I've not read the story. So I can't go with the headline.
I have read the story. Said, for proper understanding, price fixing refers to an unholy agreement. That's what I said. Unholy agreement between competing businesses to set prices at a certain level. It can be done either explicitly or implicitly, and it prevents healthy competition that is otherwise expected to drive prices down and improve quality.
How do they prove there's an unholy agreement?
That is what the FCCPC said. When they get here, you can have a conversation.
That they proved it?
Well, they say that this is happening. That is what the FCCPC says. Because apparently the prices of food items in the market do not match what was expected from pricing. If it's market forces that are driving the prices, things should be cheaper.
Well,
things should be cheaper.
Listen, much as we like things to be cheaper and we'll buy things as we need to, but there's a history. I mean, there are several countries that have tried to buy fats. That's the way this comes across. You can't just wake up and order everybody, reduce your price just like that. There's a method to the madness.
Yes, but if people are coming together and fixing a price that is exploitative and only impacts their profit margin and doesn't really reflect what market forces are, then that is why the FCCPC was created, to ensure that these things don't happen.
Well, fine. They should do their jobs. Let's see. But is that sustainable?
Well, let's find out. Let's see how that goes. You can get more on that story, really, from page 5.
Because what about those who then argue? Look, this is based on the first demand and supply principle, basic principle. If people argue that way...
But that's what the FCCPC is saying, that that's not what's happening.
All right, we're hoping that they do have...
proof? Can you be able to, substantiate
We all like to buy things and not break the bank. Of course we all like to. But it's got to be about ensuring that, look, what you're doing has got to be seen to be, okay, this is transparent, this is the way it's got to be, it's legit, it's decent.
Yeah.
Because if you want to do that, chances are, what are the consequences if you apply that mistake or erroneously to certain people because you say or you think that they came together to agree?
I mean, the FCCPC has a lot. There's a new boss for the FCCPC, and would like to hear from you. We would like to have you. We would like to have you on Channels TV. I know he hasn't done any interview so far. I haven't seen him anywhere. I've been waiting to see him somewhere. But just so you can explain to us how this price fixing is happening. Is it really going on? What should the prices of certain goods be if they're really focusing on market forces driving prices up or down? Just so you can explain to us.
So who's responsible to ensure that? Because we've also seen in the property market, a lot of toward things are happening there. Who's responsible for that? Who's responsible
for that when it comes to the property
market? Is it because the big guys are there now? We're not hearing anything about regulation.
And then the hike in rent across board.
So who's doing something about that?
Is there someone that checks it? Does the FCCPC check it? What's happening? While we're looking at people that sell tomatoes and pepper in the market, can we take a look at property people as well? Can we take a look at landlords as well? What's happening here? Let's have you, sir, come out, talk to us a little bit more.
Both, I think, in Lagos, even Abuja too, where they say you can't charge 2 years' rents for persons.
Oh yeah.
But
we have people that are
blatantly happening.
Yeah.
Who's checking? Who's ensuring that these things don't happen? Don't pick low-hanging fruit and beat and batter people.
Oh, and I don't want us to go without talking about what happened yesterday, Chamberlain. You remember, what to do about nothing. That was a thought that came to my head with the NLC.
Yeah, that's part of our discussion.
That's part of our conversation.
Mr. Gideon Joe is on standby, so you're going to hear all of that from him and more. I don't know if he goes to the markets to buy this.
He does.
Did he pay 2 years' rent
Let's find out when he gets here.
I think these are some of the issues we'll talk about in just a moment, everybody. Stay on with us.